Hello, my name is Renny Harlin and I'm the director of Dyatlov Pass Incident, and you are watching CLAP.CH. It's one of those mysteries that I've known about for a long time and read about it and seen some documentaries about it. There's so many websites about it and people are really obsessed by it. And so I was trying to find a way to tell the story as a movie. And the first instinct, of course, is to say like, okay, the movie takes place in 1959 and we tell the story of the people. But then I felt that that would be kind of a foreign thing for most audiences to look at a story in the 50s Russia with Russian characters. So then we worked hard in finding an angle that would actually put it into sort of modern context and make it more accessible to people. We felt that this gave us an opportunity to ground the movie in today's world, make it accessible to a young audience today. They can relate to the characters and put it at the same time into this historical background. And it is such a fascinating series of events, and not in the Soviet times or in the modern times has anybody been able to solve what really happened. And these people, 9 people were killed, all in different ways, and there's all these different clues to what might have happened to them, but nothing really makes sense together. So we felt that, okay, we can actually come up with a solution, even if it's kind of a far-fetched solution, but we can come up with our own theory. There's been people who said it was the government, or it was the army, or it was criminals, or it was the Yeti, or an avalanche, or whatever, or aliens. And we said, okay, well, we're going to come up with our theory, and then people, if they are interested enough, they can come up with their own theories. It was very well planned, and that's the secret, I think, of when you're making a found footage movie, is how do you make it, and also the challenge for sure, how do you make it seem very real for the audience, and at the same time plan it carefully so that you are achieving everything you need to achieve as a storyteller. And the challenge is, because if you just went, because it should feel like these people are just walking around and doing this stuff and filming it, and it's like that. But if you really did it like that, it would look horrible, and you couldn't see anything, and you couldn't hear anything, and it would be just a mess. So the huge difference and challenge for me was that when you're making a normal movie, you do a wide shot of the situation, and you do a close-up of you and close-up of me and a close-up of the drink, and whatever is the point of the story. If this microphone here is going to explode because there's a microchip in it, I can make a close-up and I can zoom into it and whatever and tell the audience something is about to happen. But when it's found footage, it has to feel completely real, and you can't use all these cuts of things.
This is where it happened. This is Dyatlov's pass. We found footprints.
The GPS is all screwed up.
When shooting a normal movie, you probably rehearse for 5 minutes the scene, the basics, and then you shoot it for 5 hours. In found footage, it's the opposite. You maybe rehearse for 5 hours so that you figure out the mise en scène and where everybody is and how people move and what happens. And then once you rehearse it for 5 hours and it's all perfect, then you shoot it in 5 minutes. And that's a big difference. And I of course had seen other found footage movies and had seen things that worked really well and things that were irritating and didn't work, and hopefully the movie feels very improvised, but it was meticulously planned. Every shot, whether the camera is in somebody's hands or if it's on a tripod or it's in the snow, everything is planned very, very carefully in order to show the audience what we need to show without it seeming like we are doing it on purpose. That's a very good point, and it really, I do think that now people just accept it and understand it better. But that was something that we debated a lot, because more you think about it, more complicated it gets. Because you could ask questions forever. You could ask, like, how did they happen to shoot all these things? And who put this together? Who edited this footage? What I'm watching now, if they shot 30 hours of stuff, like a whole movie, who put this together? And there's questions like, can there be music or can there not be music? And there's different opinions. And we had endless conversations with producers, for example, who said, like, you have to put music in it. I'm like, you can't put, who put the music in? Real life has no music. So, and it's supposed to be real. So there definitely, when you start researching and studying it and planning it, there are a lot of laws that you either choose to follow or to break, and see how far you can go without the audience turning against you and saying, like, okay, now we are being cheated, because this is really impossible. And of course, every one of these movies have situations which are impossible.
Why can't we interview Peter Karab?
He's dead.
You believe what everyone tells you to believe?
Do them in a clever way, people will accept it. And I use a comparison when I think about nature films, when people watch nature films, and there's, you know, the narrator says, the lion is walking through the jungle, and there the deer is standing in front of it. The deer smells the lion and is afraid, but the little baby deer don't know about it yet, but the snake at the same time is coming from around the tree and has just seen the baby deer. And it probably was shot over 8 months in 5 different countries, and these animals have nothing to do with each other. And they've created the reality by using, there's a close-up of the lion and the close-up of the deer. But if you thought about it, you could never shoot it. How could you shoot the lion and say, hey, lion, just wait a moment, we're going to now shoot the deer. And shoot the deer. Oh, and snake. Yo, snake, can you come around the tree one more time? Thanks, snake. So it's all created reality and storytelling created from reality and fiction, and I'm always fascinated by the thought, do normal people, when they watch a nature documentary, understand that it's impossible that all these shots would actually have happened in the same situation? Even if you had 10 cameras, it's impossible. You're surrounding all these animals, and they don't mind you, they're just doing their thing. I'm a big nature lover myself, and I'm happiest when I'm out in the wilderness, whether it be on the ocean or on a mountain or in the forest. And I've always felt that nature is such a powerful force that we absolutely don't know and can't control. And in a movie like this, I love that aspect of it in the story and how it affects the people, and is it just natural, or is it supernatural, or is it destiny, or is it fate, or whatever? But I like situations where characters become these small little ants at the mercy of the environment, and whether it's just cold or fog or snow or weird sounds, and I like that a lot, and it's definitely in this story. It should feel like it's part of it. In general, horror films, they are always cautionary tales. I think we all know now that in horror films, if you have sex, you will die immediately after that. Without going too deep, I think that it's definitely, the message is that you know, some things are better left alone. And I mean, I've always my life, I believed in supernatural. I believe in ghosts, and we have this very old 150-year-old house on this island where we spent summers, and I've spent all my childhood summers, and we all knew that the house was haunted, and we would wake up to strange things in the middle of the night and play seances and things like that. And so I since I was little, I learned in my mind that you have to be respectful of these things that are around us. And as long as you're respectful, they don't necessarily hurt you. But if you start digging too deep and go into the territories where you don't belong, then bad things can happen.